the recent clarification from the government coming in, talking about, well, the fact that even when you are elucidating about the crypto tax, the fact, Badri, that you cannot offset the losses made from one virtual asset with the income generated from another. This, in many ways, seems like taking one step forward and then two steps back.
Thanks, Ayush. And it does seem very excessive, isn't it? Because it's one thing to say that you have cryptocurrencies as a separate asset, different from capital asset, different from business income, and you want to tax it. It's altogether a completely different thing to say that you will not give any set-off of any losses. It is like, I always say, heads I win, tails you lose kind of a situation with cryptocurrency. Okay, so so that's a clarification which has come from the ministry. Of course, it will be tested legally because it's an interpretation or a situation that they have come up with. I'm sure lawyers will find creative ways to come up with solutions around it.
Just a quick confession, there's 3 lawyers here in person. I ran away from the law just to ask the questions because clearly there's a lot of questions in the crypto world. Abhinav, I'd like to really get your thoughts in on that because I'm going to move to our virtual guests. After you share your thoughts, is it genuinely something as regressive as Badri is saying? That clarification, well, the devil's always in the details for lawyers. But that clarification, would it really shake the crypto community in, well, not the most possibly positive way?
So, I think it was not unexpected, the way this taxation measures had come in. It was not entirely unexpected for the government to make such an announcement. However, as you said, the detailed print of the amendments will need to be seen. And I think more importantly, as Badri said, the judicial scrutiny will also have to be seen. The idea should not be to excessively burden a taxpayer class, which seems to be happening by virtue of these parliamentary answers given by the finance minister. So I think, yes, there is going to be some apprehension, but let's wait and watch because like everything else, this is fairly new and tax is replete with examples where measures have come in. However, they've been rationalized over a period of time. So I think some amount of wait and watch is also recommended.
Mr. Kanabar, I'd like to ask you the next question. Thank you for joining us. And well, whilst we're discussing this, would you say, I mean, the previous session was all about, well, talk of a regulation. This is always the question when it comes to this particular topic. Should a regulation have preceded this sort of announcement and then subsequent clarification on tax matters?
So let me first weigh in a little bit on the earlier question which you put, which was, what is it that the Minister of State put on the House Lok Sabha yesterday? And just very quickly to sort of clarify, he has given an interpretation to say that loss from one digital asset cannot be set off against gains of another. Now, 2 things. When the budget had come and I was on a panel and I had mentioned about the possibility of this interpretation, I was actually told that that is far-fetched, that is not the intention. So I'm a bit surprised at the clarification which is proposed to be given by the minister. And again, this clarification has no basis in law at all. The law will be what it is. But we need to bear that between now and whenever the bill gets enacted, they could actually provide this in the act itself, in which case the law will not be tested before the courts. That's one. We still have yet another unresolved issue, which is that are we going to go asset by asset or transaction by transaction? So one way to look at it is that you have one class of virtual digital asset, and then you have another so you've got crypto and you've got NFTs. You cannot set off losses of one against gains of another. That is one interpretation. The second interpretation could be that really you have to go transaction by transaction. And even within cryptos, if for example you have profits in one transaction and loss in another, you can't set it off. And the way the loss is worded is actually capable of everything. It's capable of saying all losses and profits can be set off, of course, within that framework of section 115 BBH, or otherwise it can be interpreted as transaction to transaction. And I would agree with you that first, of course, we do not have clarity in the law itself. And now we have the situation of losses and gains being sort of treated as separate pots. In substance, really, if you are taxing something at 30%, why would you not allow losses on the other heads also to be set off within the same year also beats us? But sort of this is a very restrictive approach. As to your earlier question, as to whether the clarification on the regulatory framework should have come before tax, I don't think that is necessary really, because taxation is it is a recognition that there is an existence of a virtual digital asset.
Sure.
So long as that clarification is there, how the regulators want to regulate it is separate. Taxation could be a separate framework itself.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.